Hello. Happy New Year to my longtime customers and my members. My name is Vicki LaRoe, and if I haven't seen you in a while, I apologize. I have missed all of you so much, and even if we don't see each other very often, I promise you I think of my customers every day and appreciate and adore you more than ever. So thank you so much. And actually, if you have a computer or a smartphone, going forward, we'll actually be able to interact more than ever now because of that. So I'm excited, as my business goes forward. However, this video, I wanted to talk about a launch that I did on New Year's Day to start out our new decade. It was about a program I'm launching, our Pro Jewelry Designer program for 2020 for my customers that want to sell their jewelry. And as I was writing out the outline for my students the other day, I was thinking about that perhaps I hadn't been clear enough on kind of who the program is intended for and what it's really about and what our plan is. And between kind of that and emails that I've received, instead of sending out another email with that information, because I know it's not pertinent to everyone, I thought I'd make a short 10-minute video about it, and that would be easier. It took me an hour to do my makeup, but otherwise, short. So hopefully this will answer some questions. I do have a few notes and a few examples that I want to show you, but hopefully I can clear things up. This program could be a jumping off point for you if you wanted to grow this into a larger business, a full-time income. This could work. This could be somewhere to start and somewhere then to take it to that place later. But it's not what this program is about. It's really intended for my customers that maybe have sold jewelry before. And it's fine if you never have too, that would work. But many of my customers that have wanted to sell jewelry have already tried it, right? And it didn't work, or it wasn't satisfying for many reasons. There just wasn't the return there. It was hard to find the right customer locally. There's a million reasons, why it perhaps didn't work. And over the last 3 years, as I've been kind of redeveloping my brand and my business around how business has changed, it really is becoming easier and easier to learn how to do these things, how to do a simple online store, and not just that, but actually reach the right target customer for that. And so by me doing this for my business, I really wanted to be able to offer this to my customer, possibly as a way for her to sell her jewelry. If it didn't work before, here's maybe a new way to do it. And again, it's really not for you to build some great big business and to replace a full-time income. Though if that's the direction you want to take it, you could. But I've worked with my customers for a long time now, for multiple decades, and I feel like I know them pretty well. Many of them are retired or close to retiring or thinking about retiring. And so starting a full-time new business doesn't really fit in that. That's not my definition of retiring. That's like buying yourself a job, right? I want to develop a program or system to help my customer sell jewelry around her current life that fits into her lifestyle now, and that just brings her joy. That's just a fun thing to do when she wants to do it, and then will work when she wants it to. And so I feel like I've developed something that could really, really work. And I also know that my customers have invested a lot of time and money in education and in technique, so they're talented. You all know what you're doing, right? You've spent so many years doing it, but you've also invested in a lot of beads and jewelry making materials, right? And so you have the basic foundations already, right? You have the skill and the talent and the materials to do it. So if you were missing those two things, this wouldn't work. But most of you have all those things already. And not just that, but possibly you have a lot of beads and materials that you haven't used. And by looking at them, perhaps still just looking at them makes you happy. It definitely does me. But if it makes you feel bad at all that you haven't found a way to use them, well, then that's not good. So this kind of solves both those, and I want to explain it a little bit. There's an easier process that by developing a capsule collection, putting it online in a simple online store, and then directly marketing it to the customer that's buying that jewelry, which we can do. I can teach you how to do all that. Selling out those pieces, and then doing it again. Rinse and repeat, only as often as you want to. I promise this can work, and it's so much easier than you can imagine, and especially if you have someone to help you and someone to set up the basic tech things for you, like the website, and then teach you how to maintain it, to take your pictures and then teach you how to do them yourself and maintain those. And then it will earn money for you. And will it replace some big full-time income? No, probably not. It could maybe. But again, that's not how I see this fitting in my customer's life today, right? And so what I know is it could make enough to support your hobby. Again, you've already invested all this money in the materials, so it can at least recoup those funds to buy more beads, take more classes, travel, whatever you want to do. It will at least do that. And I want to show you this formula, and I'm going to talk about, so I can explain that in this video, and show you a couple examples. And I still have a couple spots open in this program, and I'd love to have all my students launch at the same time. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the pricing and stuff right at the end, but that's why I thought this video might help explain a few things. And I wrote a book about 10 years ago or so on selling your own jewelry, and it was a very comprehensive step-by-step how to take the jewelry you've made, price it, brand it, and do craft shows with it and sell it. Or approach stores and things if you want to get them into boutiques. And some people did that. The book sold very well. Lots of people did that. Some had success and some didn't. Again, for whatever reason. Mostly because it's hard. Especially doing craft shows and things. They're very hard. Maybe they're fun the first couple times, but other than that, they're really difficult. And it's like a crapshoot. It's like rolling the dice. If that right customer is going to show up at this show and then purchase your jewelry. There's no shows in this program. There's no craft shows in this program. We don't do them again unless you want to, unless you enjoy doing them, or there's one you want to do for charity or whatever. But it's not a part of this long-term play here at all, because that's shooting in the dark. We're not about that. It's about targeting the right customer, and how we do that pretty easily these days. So that's an outdated model. You could still pursue that, I guess, but it's very outdated and very hard. And as I have updated and been creating my business, that's where it occurred to me, even the business then of selling jewelry, which I've done a lot of, can also fit here. And So I want to show you a new way to do this. And it starts by creating a collection, a capsule collection. And I'll show you some examples and talk about what that is. But it starts with creating this capsule collection, putting it on our simple online store, then building up to a launch, marketing it to people through our social media who we've been able to contact directly through things called cookies, right? There's cookies in your computer and your IP and your browsers that track people's shopping. And so all these platforms now can pretty easily find women who are purchasing handmade, one-of-a-kind jewelry at these price points. And they have ways to target them exactly for us to get your jewelry in front of them through social media. So we're no longer trying to set up at the office where we work at lunchtime and hope our coworkers buy it and they want a deal, and we're not doing that. We're targeting directly to women who love buying sparkly jewelry things. It's pretty much the easiest audience in the world, right? We're selling jewelry to women. We can find her. And you'll probably never meet her, right? It's all done, online and shipping things to her, and we'll work all those details out. But preparing for the launch, having a launch date with our capsule collection, which is 10, 12, 15 pieces, selling out, and doing it again. And doing just as many of those collections as you want during the year. So what I mean by a collection, right? If you think of someone's collection, a capsule collection is a smaller version of that. So 10, 12 pieces, 15 pieces, and every designer works this way. So instead of putting up, here's all these random things that you may have tried to sell at shows before or through other ways, this is a very marketed, targeted, purposeful collection. And as we start, like when we first start, I would have you bring many, many things together, however many pieces you want to bring for us to meet. And when we meet, we'll pull the pieces that can start to put a collection together. And if it's enough, great. If we need to fill in with some pieces, we'll talk about that. Or we could talk about how to alter some pieces to make it all fit until they all look like they belong together as one collection. This is what every designer does, right? That's why they have collections for every season, right? And it's also what I always did at the bead store. And now those beads you have. But I know it works because this is how we sold every collection of beads. Every time we get in a new line of beads, so Russian ceramic beads, Indonesian sea glass, shell beads, mother of pearl, abalone, black lip, vintage lucite, vintage Egyptian crystals, Kazuri ceramics, right? So here's a line of beads. Here's a line of beads I brought in. We don't put those out on the sales floor until I've designed jewelry with those beads. So I designed jewelry, the girls would make it, and then we put out the collection and the samples of jewelry with it, right? So even though I don't have a lot of jewelry left now from the shop, but my long-time customers, you can use your memory and know that you'd walk in and see a collection of beads and the jewelry we made with it, and then you would purchase them. If you take apart or take away the jewelry so that it's just the beads laying there, you may still walk up and love a few of them and even purchase them, but not like when you see them used, not like when you see them all together, right? So the collection of jewelry we would make to sell those is a capsule collection. And if I would have had that jewelry for sale, many of you would have bought the jewelry, right? Because it all looked beautiful together as a collection. So now those collections of beads are in your home. You all have certain beads you love and you've either bought them from me and started and then bought more at shows or online or wherever. But in your own collection at home, your beads, you have a bunch of beautiful shell beads, a bunch of beautiful ceramics. These beads you love but haven't used maybe many of them. And you still love them. But that's what I'm talking about now. We'll start with whatever you want to start with, whatever you have. And I'll build a collection with what you have, with what works. And those are the pieces I'm going to start with to take pictures of and start your website to get it up and running. While I'm doing that, you're going to work thoughtfully and consciously on the Mother's Day collection and using whichever beads inspire you, whichever beads excite you that you haven't got a chance to use. It doesn't matter. They don't go bad. It doesn't matter how old they are. Whatever grouping of beads, selection of beads you have a lot of that you love, you're now going to design a collection around them by just starting to make things with them. And you may start to make 10, 20 pieces and not finish them necessarily, but just start them. And as you start making one, you get inspired to do another and another. Or maybe you start working with those and it's not really going somewhere. You're not really loving it. So you switch over to different crystal beads that you love and start making a collection from those. That way, the entire time you're focused on building and making pieces that will all look great together because they're focused around one particular look from those beads, whether it's all shells, again, all ceramics, all wood beads, all bone. It doesn't matter, but we take one theme and we build a capsule collection. And once it's done, then that's the collection that I help you, teach you how to take photos of, how to get listed on your new website that you have, and your website will automatically start building clientele, start taking automatically emails, but will then also start marketing the pieces you're working on through your social media, and then we'll do a launch together. And again, and then this is rinse and repeat. You can do it as often as you want. When you do the build up to market these pieces and then launch it on a date to our direct clients that we've been collecting, then it will sell out because it's just a few pieces. And whether those pieces are samples that you make more of or they're one-of-a-kind pieces, that doesn't matter. We'll decide that later. But we just do that again and again as often as you want to. So for example, let's say we're going to make a collection for Mother's Day, and then maybe another one for fall, and another for holiday, and another for Valentine's, for a year. You're going to make 4 capsule collections a year and work on them in advance, so several months in advance, that once you start getting some pieces, you can start taking some pictures and start sharing those on social media with your customers who get excited about it. And again, we're reaching her through targeted means, which I teach you. So this isn't going to your friends and family unless you want it to. It's going out to women who are already purchasing jewelry at this price point. And we're going to make sure your price points are sitting in the sweet spot. $69, $79, $89, so that we average around $100 when all is said and done per piece. And some higher, some lower, but there's your average. Targeting to women who are already spending that on handmade jewelry. They want unique, beautiful jewelry. We're going to find her. It's the whole world. You're no longer limited to your local customer. She's probably not many of them here necessarily. But we have the whole world to look at. So we'll find her. 19 minutes. I better talk faster. So you do this 4 times a year. And let's, again, say it's 12 pieces. And we sell out $1,500, just as a round figure. $1,500, 4 times a year is $6,000. Or $500 a month. Now, I can't guarantee any exact sales figure. And especially the first year as we're starting and we're collecting our customers and just getting more and more of a clientele, but give it 2 years. And I have this formula, we'll get there. And so you're just making jewelry that you love. It's not random, I don't know what to make. It's thoughtful. We're consciously making this collection, and I'm showing you how to launch it. We launch it on a specific date, so we built up a lot of excitement around it. We launch it, sell out, and repeat. We don't just put it up as we make it and sell it, because there's no urgency about that. There's no excitement or buildup about it. So I promise this is just I hate use the word easier, but it does seem easier, but it's also more joyful. And I wanted to create something that would fit in your life now, that will use the materials and product you have that you have always wanted to use up, and show you how to do it today in today's marketplace. And I think I haven't even been following my notes. I've just been rambling. So let's hope I got them all. But this is what Target does, capsule collections with designers. I mean, so that's basically what we're focusing on. And I wouldn't recommend doing more than 4, or you could do 3. I wouldn't do more than that, because once you start doing more, it becomes too common, too much work, And again, unless you want to take this full time in a new career, awesome. But that's not who I think my customer is today. I think our lives change, our values and things change, and we just want to have fun. It'd be great if we could make money and do things we love at the same time. And I think you can. And I want to be able to set this up for you and then show you how to do it. And it's an opportunity to work one-on-one and in this small group. And so I'm excited to do it. If you've looked at the price of it, when I kind of wrote out everything that was included in this, by my time, it was like a $3,000, $3,200 value. I work with a business coach I see every week. So, I mean, everyone I know that's successful works with somebody at some point to make what they're trying to do a success. And so I wanted to make it a really great value. So it's about $3,000, $3,200 worth of time and skills and services that I put a price of $997 on, a little less than $1,000, which is a lot less than someone to just make a website for you. But I'm not a tech guru, so that's not my specialty. However, I am an expert at selling jewelry. And if you hire some generic person to make a website, that's not going to do you any good. Just to have a website and put jewelry up is not going to sell it. I'm an expert at selling jewelry. And so we're going to make a site and a social media program and plan to sell jewelry. And that's why when people sometimes think, well, I have a nephew who's young. He knows all that stuff. He could do it for me. He doesn't know how to sell jewelry. So that's the difference. So it's an extremely great price for everything, for the amount of hours. When I counted up just the hours I'm going to spend working with each person, it's around 80 hours total, which breaks down to about $14, $13 an hour. So for my 30 years of experience, that's a pretty low fee to make. But I wanted a very special introductory price to be able to offer this the first time. And then if I do it again, it will for sure be at least $1,500 going next time for sure. I know it's worth it. I know it is. It's worth more than that. It's $997. There's a couple spots left. You need to put $497 down, and half down, so that we start this process, and then you can break up the balance over 2 payments of $250 over the next 2 months, or however you want to do it. Or you can pay in full and actually save 10% more and get it for $900, which is a great deal if you pay in full. So I have a couple spots left. I would love it if you would join me. I hope this makes more sense. I am so excited to be able to offer this to you. Oh, I was going to show you this a little bit. They're not great examples, and I'm going to have you excuse how kind of maybe jiggly the camera's going to be, but I want to show you a couple collections I put together kind of quickly. So let me move my camera a little bit. So, oops, here's this collection. I know it's kind of hard to see, but she's a beautiful collection of, there's not a lot of color, so a lot of crystal and golds and blacks. It's color and materials that ties this all together. The chain, the crystal, the neutral crystal, the gold. It is all one metal color. We don't have to have some silver and some gold or some black and some white. We're not trying to sell to everybody. We're not trying to make everybody happy. Trying to sell to everybody is a recipe for selling to nobody. We're going to sell to a niche audience that just loves this jewelry that looks beautiful together as a collection. And this is just from stuff I pulled. It wasn't even designed or made thoughtfully or purposely to be a collection. I'm going to move her and scooch this over a little again. So this is a collection of kind of leather jewelry. Let me see if I can kind of put her together here. So this might be a similar grouping of what you might bring to me when we meet, perhaps. And here's a few pieces. Here's this more leather jewelry. You can't really see it. That I might start pulling and saying, okay, all these will work together. It's again leather and neutrals. There's not a lot of other colors here. There's some pearls and some metals. And so then this is only a few pieces, 10, 8, 10. So together, we would say, here's a good place to start. Now maybe let's make another necklace, another brace, a couple more earrings. Let's hit this price point and this price point, and we'll work together to fill in any holes. Or I might say, okay, why don't we go back and add some pearls to this piece so it ties in here. So we'll work together thoughtfully, and I'll show you how we're going to tie it together and what makes it work. And then as you create your own collection, again, for Mother's Day, out of a specific collection of beads. So sorry for the jiggly. That will be much easier. I'm just trying to put these together out of things that I had. So, but hopefully that kind of gives you an idea. I just wanted to make a program, a system. Once I knew it was going to work for me, I just wanted to be able to share it with my customers. I love you so much. And so you can go online now. It's createadorn.com. It's on the front page to sign up and get those last spaces. I'm just getting outlines and things sent out to students to get us started. And I'm so thrilled to be able to work with you. Thank you so much for listening. Oh, and ladies, sparkle brightly, because just like the star you are. Love you so much. I'll talk to you soon.